The PS5 is already outselling the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S by a larger margin than the PlayStation 4 outsold the Xbox One within that same amount of time. Believe it or not, this is true. As bad as people think the Xbox One sold, which it did long term, it still was putting up a better fight than the current generation Xbox. I can't wait to get into this topic. This is definitely a video you're not going to want to miss. Hey there everyone, I'm the Crapgamer, and this of course is Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few cool changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from giving us a like and possibly consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me and my silly YouTube channel. It really does mean a lot. Now, back onto this. Both Sony and Microsoft have released their numbers. While Microsoft hasn't officially released console sales numbers, one Z Huge has kind of announced basically what the numbers are, even though those are more of an estimate than anything. So those could be wrong. If they would be wrong, they would be wrong a little bit in the other way. But what's nice to see is that console gaming is doing incredibly well. The PlayStation 5 has become one of the most successful consoles of any generation. And of course, the latest fiscal report has stated that despite supply shortages, the console sales have remained strong. In total, Sony has managed to sell 13.4 million PlayStation 5 consoles. The quarter alone saw 3.3 million units sold compared to the previous quarter's 2.2 million. Now, this is very good news for people who are fans of gaming, video game consoles, and want to see longevity out of the consoles themselves. Now, the quarterly report covers the financial results for the 3 months which ended September 30th, 2021. The company reported a 27% increase in sales in its game segment year on year. Sales reached $5.7 billion for the segment, while operating income decreased 21% to $727 million. Sony reported revenue as $10.8 billion. Game sales increased to 76.4 million units compared to 63.6 million the previous quarter. So games are up. Game sales are up, folks. We keep seeing this all the time, especially from PlayStation brands. They're selling a lot of content. They're selling a lot of third-party content as well. Although it was a little bit lackluster the second half in terms of first-party releases, they did have a ton of third-party games, and those are very successful on the PlayStation itself. Some people might notice that the numbers are a bit off, and the explanation, according to this, is that while Sony did sell more games last quarter, first-party titles dropped very significantly from 10.5 million last quarter to 7.6 million in quarter 2. That was offset in numbers by third-party games, but those don't need to be as profitable, or those tend not to be as profitable, however. Sony also noted that Ghost of Tsushima launched last year during the same quarter, while this quarter has no comparable releases, which is a good thing. They're basically saying, well, last year, we released brand new Ghost of Tsushima game, and it ended up breaking a bunch of records, selling, millions of copies very quickly, and they didn't have any big AAA release comparable this time around. So yeah, you see that it's a little bit different situation. While the PlayStation 5 console sales have gone up, the PlayStation 4 sales have decreased considerably. They've gone down to just 200,000 from the 500,000 that was sold the previous quarter. Other factors that Sony mentions are loss resulting from strategic price points for PlayStation 5 hardware that were set lower than manufacturing costs. This financial year, Sony aims to sell 14.8 million PlayStation 5 consoles, which ends March 31st, 2022. This target would take the global semiconductor shortage that's affecting the entire tech industry into account. Additionally, however, in August, Sony mentioned that PlayStation 5 was no longer being sold at a loss, as Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki told investors that the PlayStation 5 sales target is higher than the 14.8 million sales achieved by the PlayStation 4 in its first year. Now, this is very good news to talk about because, again, I want to make it clear. Within the first year, the PlayStation 4 was at 13 million consoles sold, and Xbox managed to hit 10 million. So think about this for a hot second here. In year one, it ended up being 10 million Xbox One sold. Right, November 12th, they announced 10 million Xbox One sold. The PS4 was at 13 million, or just over 13 million. And now we're at a situation where the Xbox Series X and S combined, at least according to Z Huge, is only at roughly 8 million. So it's a couple million behind what the Xbox One had done. Now, we could sit there and say supply constraints, which is probably true, but I also remember saying, that we might not see a situation where the console ended up doing as well. So the interesting thing is here, going back to November 12th of 2014, Microsoft reaches 10 million Xbox One shipments 3 months after the PS4 did, which is something that a lot of people will probably, want to see. So basically, it's very interesting to see. Microsoft revealed that it would have shipped 10 million Xbox One consoles to retailers. The significant milestone comes exactly 3 months after Sony first revealed it hit 10 million PlayStation 4 consoles worldwide. Microsoft sales figures on the count on devices shipped to retailers rather than sales directly to consumers. The PS4 has outsold the Xbox One for 9 consecutive months with a total of 13.5 million units. But Microsoft hints that Sony's winning streak might be coming to an end as we head into the busy holiday season. Xbox One led Generation 8 consoles in the US in sales the past 2 weeks, but I will give you guys a spoiler alert. PlayStation ended up coming back and winning that month as well. So yeah, it wasn't as blatant as anything you guys might think. Microsoft's Xbox One sales are on the rise. It's likely down to the recent temporary $50 price cut, which Yusuf Mendy admits sales skyrocketed since the new price cut took effect earlier in the month, which they were selling for $349. So the fact that year one on a generation when Xbox One was supposedly just going to get destroyed or whatever, and that they were only a few million behind at one point within the first year and still sold over 10 million units, is very telling, to say the least. And it's very exciting to see that console generations, that PlayStation continues to really just outdo Microsoft in a lot of ways. And at the end of the day, I do feel like, both consoles are probably doing well and probably not selling as much as they could if they had, proper supply and things like that. So I am taking that into effect, but it's just very interesting to see that no matter what happens, it does look like PlayStation 5 is just like the cultural phenomenon that it is. Everybody is talking about PlayStation. We're all talking about how amazing the PlayStation 5 is selling, and not only how amazing the PlayStation 5 is selling, but we have to also keep in mind that things are kind of constrained with the semiconductors and things like that, and they're still managing to stay ahead of where the PlayStation 4 was, which is nothing short of phenomenal. And obviously they've done a lot of things behind the scenes to sort of make things come out there a little bit, and I think that everybody should be pretty thankful for that. So I would be very interested to see where both these consoles could be if there were no supply constraints. Just imagine what world that would be if that could actually happen. So yeah, very interesting to say the least. With that being said, what do you guys think about this? Are you happy about the consoles doing extremely well? PlayStation 5 absolutely out there destroying everything in its path. Xbox Series X trending below what the Xbox One was doing. Crazy stuff, crazy numbers. Let me know what you think. If you do enjoy my content, please consider leaving a like or subscribe or share it. Tell someone, let somebody know. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Crap gamer out.
Turns out, the same people as always, dropping the facts. It's not cross-gen.